Galatians, Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. I am crucified with my Hamashiach. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Hamashiach liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, Yahweh, who loved me and gave himself for me. I'd like to give all prayers and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kudash, the Wadiya, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, for giving us the apostles and the elders of great millstone who deserved our honors, rightfully so. Shalom to the Aki, pushing the word in sincerity and truth, and being faith-based and being prepared for what is to come. And what is to come? Race wars, famine, concentration camps. The RFID chip was the mark of the beast. 200 million missiles hit the soils of America. Simultaneously, the chariots of the Lord lifting up the hopeful elect into the chambers. Simultaneously, the chariots of the Lord shooting laser beams at the ungodly and the heathens, rightfully so. Just to clarify something, all those things I believe is going to happen, and it's going to lead to our into our salvation. You know, race wars, concentration camps, famine. Those are things that the scripture speaks about. You know, race wars, famine, concentration camps. The RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, the scripture speaks about these things. All right? 200 million missiles hitting the soils of America. The scripture speaks about that in Revelation chapter 9, I think it was verse 16. Let me get that one. All right, race war. Let me see. Before I do that, we're gonna do this first. All right, we'll get one out of each. Okay. Famine. All right. Scripture speaks about famine. Lots of parts in the scriptures is famine. There's famine all over the place. You know. And it gives you in the opposite way too, because right now we are instituting the scriptures out, right? We are setting up. We out on the highways and the byways, and we speaking to the people, the mass of people. We waking up the hopeful elect because it's happening. The hopeful elect is being woke because once we wake up, we hope to be saved. So that's happening, right? It says let me read this one. Amos chapter 8 verse 11, because it's one of the ones that stuck out to me. Behold, the day come, say the Lord, that the Lord power Yahweh, that I will send a famine. That I will send a famine. See, famine is only caused by Yahweh Shemel Shah. Right? That I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but the hearing of the word of Yahweh Shemel Shah. So one of these days, that the internet, you know what, the internet is. I remember being when I was younger, I was always see, individuals, brothers. They just go out there at that time they were brothers. They was out in the highways and the byways, right? It was just I would see them, but I wasn't one of them doing it. I was a worldly man, right? Case in point, I was a young boy, and I was running around. And I would see these things. I would see these individuals, and they'd be speaking, and you see I remember the signs too. But did I pay attention to it? No, because that wasn't my time. The Lord wakes you up, but He puts these thoughts in, He put these things in your head, because they was doing the will of the Lord, even though they're not doing it no more. The scripture speaks about that too. If you turn back, you're not one of His no more. So and during that time, that was the 90s, right? I say around the 90s. And then the word stopped too. It narrowed down, but it was dormant, but it was not dormant, but because certain individuals had it still. They had the information still. that needs to be brought out. So it was more studying, more faith building. Certain things had to happen to test people, individuals' faiths, all right, and see if they worthy. So these things from the 90s, whatever, back with Albert Bidmans, a lot of individuals with Albert Bidmans, um, if you go back even further, because the scripture speaks about faith, all right, having faith in Yahweh Shem Shah, right, and right, so and like I said, the famine, you know, these are things that we have faith that's going to happen, you know, and we fear these things too because we don't want to be caught up in the mix. We don't want to be caught in between these things. Famine, concentration camps. We don't want to be caught. We don't want to put no concentration camps. So what are we doing this for? For Isaiah chapter 33. The fear of the Lord is thy treasure. I'm just going. I don't want to go to it, but the fear. It says, wisdom and knowledge should be thy stability to thy time. The wisdom and knowledge of who? Of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Okay. Because we don't want to get caught in these famines. Salaki if I'm all over the place, but I was trying to break down a couple of things. What we have, the things we have faith in, that it's happened. That we have faith that the RFID is the mark of the beast. Because it clarified, and then when you study it, when you start looking up the word charagma, all right, that's a Greek word, to means to put in, to put an implant, to prick, all right. And then they mentioned the right hand and left hand, right? 200 million missiles hitting the soils of America. 200,000. What was it? It says these are just, but it's the book that's speaking. The book is living water. The book is living water. And people that don't drink, like Yahweh Shah said to the lady at the well, which she was not one of us. Because if she was one of us, I can't remember how the other lady, she said that I would eat the crumbs at your table. She was that was a different woman. She was one of us. All right. So because she had faith, but she had faith in Yahweh Shah, but this lady didn't have faith in Yahweh Shah. All right. So there's different scenarios of of things that's in the scriptures that's for our learning. All right, that's supposed to be our faith builder. And we have a sure, and our faith is a sure thing. And in the end, it's a clear how you say it? What you say? Oh man, I'm all over the place. But so like, I'm trying to narrow this down. All right. It says. All right. It says Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for. Okay. All right. We hoping to make it out of here. We have faith in the things we speak about. And since this is the year of prophecy, we've been prophesying these things for so long. Now it's showing itself. It's happening. And like what the scripture says, is he going to come and find? Is he going to find there's no faith in the world? No, there's going to be individuals that's going to have faith. There's going to be ones that's going to be defending him. Because it speaks about that. The scripture speaks about men getting crowned for standing so stiffly in having faith in Yahweh Shemel Shah. Of something like it says right here, it says faith. Now faith, it says Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So we don't see these things. We don't see Yahweh Shah. We don't see Yahweh. But certain things is faith builders. Like our elders, our apostles, you know. The chariots. Sometimes we see chariots. We see little flying objects. But remember, back then in the ancient world, Moses, they saw a whole gigantic ship. Ezra, Elijah saw a gigantic ship. Um, who was that? Was it Ezekiel? The roll. That was a ship. Those are ships. So they saw it. They saw that they couldn't see the end of it. They couldn't measure it. Some measured it, some did. It was so much happening, but the scriptures is written for our faith now, for our learning. How that scripture go? I'm trying to narrow this down, Salaki. If I could, through the Spirit, for our learning. Come on now. See? All right. Romans chapter 15, verse 11. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You see, it narrows itself down around faith and hope. And patience. That's another key. That's another key word. That because patience means to suffer. And what are we suffering? This damn world. You know, this world we suffer. We suffer in this world. Infirmities, pain. You know, our damn kids doing what the hell they want. Or our women doing what the hell they want. You know, that's some serious patience. Not knocking a motherfucking head off. Cause if you was, cause 9 times we was, cause I know for me for a fact when I wasn't in the truth, I was more violent. I was violent. Can't say more violent. I'm not violent now, cause we know we have to be patient. Cause everything ain't expedient, right? The scripture speaks about that. The scripture speaks about that everything is not expedient. We can't go off the wind on every damn goddamn thing. Even though Satan pushes us, because the buttons gets pushed constantly. You be wondering, what the fuck? Why you just can't? Yeah. Why you just can't do what I asked you to do? Especially in this world, you go to work, motherfucker got something to say. You come home, motherfucker got to say. One little word could trigger everything. One word could trigger everything. It's a lot. And this is a serious, delicate battle for salvation. You gotta learn how to govern yourself first. And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to govern yourself. So, like I said, it says this we're learning. Could you imagine Yahweh Shah? He had he's everything. Yahweh Shah had everything. Even though he was on a mission. His mission was to be a lamb. Right? His mission was to be a lamb. A little sheep. Okay? And lambs, they vulnerable. Because wolves is among sheep. There's wolves, the scripture speaks about that too. That amongst us is wolves, bears, tigers, and they like to eat little lambs. And Satan is on everybody. If you're not in the truth, the Satan is on them. They're your enemy, even though it don't matter who they are. They still your enemy because they're not in the truth. They're not defending the gospel. They don't have faith. They don't have the same faith you have. They have faith in the society. They don't have faith in Yahweh Shemel Shah. So that's your competitor. Regardless of whatever is going on. And in the scripture, like it says Romans chapter 15, verse 4, for whatsoever things are written aforetime, these things were written before time. This was us writing it for us now. Okay? Because that's reincarnation. Reincarnation, another thing that's in the scriptures. That's us. That's us again. That's us back then. Writing it for us now. We're putting this down on paper and it's vote for us, and then now we get it now because the scripture speaks about the prophet. How you say it? It says the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophets. The spirit of the prophet, the spirit that dwells in you is for the same person that was back then. It's for the same person now. That's what that means. That's reincarnation. So what you was doing back then, you doing it now. It just had to be. It was dormant, and it had to be awakened. It had to be a spark, because fire spreads. So this yesterday was a fire. It was like I don't know how many houses, but it was fire. That shit spread fast. Fire spreads, and that spark. And like I said, the '90s, it was it didn't spark then, but it resonated. It felt something. I felt something. I said, wait a minute. Even though you wasn't in the truth. I wasn't in the truth, but watching Roots and certain movies, Ten Commandments, it resonated something. But what does society do? It tries to cloak it with something else, and it's a throw off. It throws you off. So now you back. You got it the correct way, because certain men was Hebrews, right? Let me read this. Let me finish reading this again. All right. It says Romans chapter 15 verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. For our learning. What we learn now. What we got now? We got the truth now. The truth is back. What the righteousness is back. It was planted and they kept throwing dirt on it, drowning the seed, but the seed kept growing. And now it's a tree. The fruit is being how you say what the fruit is being shown. You can see the fruits of the labor of the great men that's been before us, which was us, which makes logical sense. There's no new thing under the sun. There's another scripture. The scripture speaks about these things. Okay, for whatsoever things were written aforetime for were written not Salakia. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Now, what we have hope in, it's back to that word hope. We have hope to get the hell up out. We hope all these things that's happening speeds up and it happens fast so we can get the hell up out of here. We want to get the hell out of here. That's it. We want to go home. If we in this truth, we know we got a little place that we go. We call our home, but it's not home. We hope that Howard Shah is actually out there. That's what we hope for. We hope, we have faith, patience, that those planets out there is actually ours. That's the promise, though. But the scripture speaks about many mansions, so that's what we have patience in. We have patience to wait for those things. We have faith in those things because it's Yahweh Shai speaks of these things, and this is what they didn't want us to get. They didn't want us to get this truth because they know in this truth lies their destiny too. And what is their destiny? To go into change. They know that the Lord is dealing with, but this is for our learning. This is a class. This right now, our life is a class. We are in class right now, and we're learning how to be righteous, justful men through wickedness. Because this is the ultimate test right now. We in a wicked class, right? This class, all you see is demonic shit, and you gotta be able to discern it. You gotta be able to understand it. You gotta dissect it. This shit is crazy. This shit's crazy, man. That's why the scripture speaks about, and the men before us, they went through some serious battles, and they saw things. When how it go again? I just read that one. Let me go now. Let me go to the other one. Right? It said let's go back to Hebrews now. All right. It says, oh man, I read so many. I read the whole Hebrews, and I don't know what verse it was, because now I'm just going in the spirit. All right. And we have faith that the Spirit leads us, because we was once we got, it's a spirit in us. What the Romans says is, for our spirit bear witness that we the child of God, we're children of God. We witnessed it. Our spirit witnessed these things. We could feel it, and we can see our enemy decaying as we speak. We see all our enemies decaying. The scripture speaks about the Persians and Medes being a dominating force at one time, and they was taken down by Alexander the Great, and the Babylonians, the Persians. These were all dominated. They were all dominating nations. Now we had the Romans. Then we had then at one time we had for that 1,000 years the Dark Age, which that's a serious come up. But you notice that in the history they call it the Byzantine Empire, the Dark Ages. They don't. That's like an age they don't want to speak about. That 1,000 years, that Dark Age, when Septimius, Constantine, um the what's the oh man, I can't even think of the word. How you say it? The oh man, the it's the word, it's the name. I can't think of it. Slovakia. But we ran a certain time and era, but they don't speak about that. They call it, the word Byzantine means backwards. And then right after that is the Renaissance. After that 1,000 years, they speak about that time from the 1300s all the way up to now. The word Renaissance means the rebirth. So these things, everything is for our learning now. So now we know that something is being hidden that needs to be resurrected, that needs to be brought up, that needs to be dug up, and that's what's happening right now. All these archaeologies, all these artifacts, all these things. I remember once I was watching how you say I was watching this Russian lady. It was like she had all these